The lyrics is 187 on the undercover cop. 187 is the murder code, right? Snoop Dogg dropped his first album in 1993. We're gonna talk about this, the Dog Star Sirius, right? In the constellation Canis Major, right? He's accompanied by Orion, the great champion of the sky, the great champion of the heavens is Orion. He's the great champion. He's the great hunter. With him being a great hunter, hunters use dogs, right, to hunt. The world's first secret society was the world's first hunters because they had to do it in secret. It's the story of Adam and Eve, right? Eve became Evil, right? El is the Mesopotamian, old Mesopotamian god, right? Adam El is Adam, right? Adam El, Adam O. And then if you take the word Jew and put El on the end of Jew, is Jewel. That's what anybody could be a Jewel, right? You just gotta be willing to let God's light shine through, right? Using God uh connotatively. Because we know God is a verb, right? The creator, the creatora, right? Now this constellation of Canis Major, right? And the brightest star in the sky is Sirius, right? It sits in Canis Major. Now it sits so low that it's the guiding light to the underworld, right? It's That's why I got this picture pulled up too, because it sits real low compared to all the other constellations. So it's going into the underworld. It's the dog star, right? Dog is the reverse of God, right? God is guide, your guide. Your consciousness is your guide, right? Your subconscious just work automatically, right? You got two consciousness. You got your subconsciousness and you got your higher consciousness. The higher consciousness is the God consciousness. Now this subconsciousness sits below. If we looking at the brain, it sits below the brain, right? It's the lower consciousness. Everything that you do automatically is controlled by your subconscious. All right, so this dog star is the guide and light to the underworld. All right. So that's major right there. We already starting off major. All right. So it's connected to the date July 23rd. Now, if you're using astrology, most of the time you're gonna have to put in some numbers, right? If you want to get your natal chart, you're gonna have to input some numbers. All right. They want to know what date you was born, the time of the day you was born. They want to know all that. All right. We're dealing with spirituality and not religion. There's a big battle about spirituality and religion. All right. So on July 23rd, Sirius rises and sets in conjunction with the sun. Farmer's Almanac reports. In ancient time, Romans believed that because Sirius is so bright, it actually added to the sun's warmth, making the days even hotter. This gives us the dog days of summer, right? Sirius is a super bright star, right? The morning star, some would say. And if it's adding to the heat of the sun already, right? The sun's already hot. It's doubling the heat. Double is devil. Double devil. Super hot. Like hell, right? We already said this is the dog that leads you to the underworld. We don't get into the Egyptian, how the Egyptians looked at it too. Because we all been looking at the same stars for thousands and thousands of years, right? Yet they tell us that the universe is moving 67,000 miles throughout the plane. Makes no sense, right? Sirius rises in conjunction with the sun. It's the sun's helper. It's Orion's helper, right? So Sirius doubling up, making the days even hotter, right? July 23rd, right? July is just Julius, right? Like Julius Caesar, all right? This is also the day that the July 23rd in Egypt, the Nile River would flood, okay? The Nile River would flood. And you see this guy that's here, and he's on a boat, right? And you see the 5 point in the story right here, okay? We're going to be dealing with the number 5 and then number 23 a lot in this. All right, dealing with the dog star series. So yeah, the Nile River will flood, and they would say it's because of the dog star series, right? Being so close to Earth. Now, the last time in recorded history, the dog star was really close to Earth. That the closest it's been is 1993, right? 1993, you got Michael Jordan beating the Suns. 1993, if you go look at that NBA Finals, Michael Jordan beats the Suns. All right. 93. They say the sun is 93 million miles away. So it all adds up. The 93, of course, Michael Jordan beats the Suns. Michael Jordan represents the dog store, right? And the number 23. So does LeBron. We're going to get on LeBron too here in a minute. All right. So July 23rd is the day that the Nile will flood, right? We get July from Julius, right? Julius Caesar. It's also the day, it's one of the warmest days of the year, right? So yeah, Julius Caesar was actually stabbed 23 times upon death. All right, that's what I'm saying. This is the death story, and we already had a major ritual with on July 23rd. A lot of people didn't even notice it. A lot of people let it slide by, even me. Right, collectively, the group stabbed Caesar a reported 23 times, killing the Roman leader. Right, so Julius is July. He was stabbed 23 times. Right, he was saved from being drowned too. That's another thing. He could have died when he was almost drowned. Right? Yeah, we talk about Michael Jordan winning his championship, right, in 1993, the first of the three-peat. And you see his dad, James Jordan, right? There's a classic picture of Michael Jordan on the ground crying, right, with his Bulls uniform on in 1993 after he won the championship on Father's Day, right? And you see James R. Jordan Sr. was killed actually on July 23rd, right? Julius Caesar Day. Now, I said there was a big ritual that went on July 23rd, right? Because I got to connect this with what's going on now. We got to. We got to connect this with what's going on now. What's going on in today. Or else it don't make no sense. And here we see Kamala Harris, July 23rd, 2024, presidential campaign news. This is her first stop on the tour for her becoming president. July 23rd, right? And she was in Wisconsin. Wisconsin starts with a W. W is the 23rd letter. All right. 23, W, woman. Okay. And what does Snoop Dogg call his women? We're going to get back to that. What does Snoop Dogg call his women? But this was the big ritual on July 23rd that just passed, right? 2024. This dog store, right? And the reason why I've been talking about the dog store so much is because of the Olympics, right? Shout out to BD Chief. He told me to look at the Olympics. He told me I need to look at the Olympics. I need to see what's going on. All right. LeBron James wears number 23. He was the flag bearer. The flag has 50 stars on it. 5 plus 0 is 5. The U.S. flag has 50 stars on it. 5 plus 0 is 5. Right? 2 plus 3 is 5. He's number 23. He's on the ferry boat. Right? I showed you the boat already. They ride the boat. Right? Because there's waters above and there's waters below. LeBron James was the flag bearer, right? Number 23. He gets to be the flag bearer. That's a high honor at the Olympics. All right. And these stars that's on the flag are 5-pointed stars. All right. And LeBron is on the ferry boat. And he's the flag bearer, right? Kind of like the light bearer. Okay. Also, who's at the Olympics too? Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg is Anubis all day. He been Anubis for a long time. That's why I showed you the 187, right? He wrote the song Murder Was a Case. He was on the label Death Row, right? Death surrounds this man, right? And he was in this video, Still Dre, with the number 23 jersey on, okay? Snoop Dogg is Anubis, the dog of death, right? He guides you to the underworld. It's the guide to the underworld. Like I said, Canis Major is one of the lowest sitting constellations, right? The dog star, the brightest star in the sky, is the light bearer to the underworld. All right. And Anubis would give you basically the embalming the embalming fluid, the water. That's why they was on the ferry for the water. That's why LeBron is on the ferry for the water, right? He's a 23 too. Okay. Snoop Dogg, same thing. He's caught on this video wearing a number 23 and it's light blue. The dog star Sirius is a light blue star. Now, the ancients said it was red at one point. All right, and I guess stars go through supernovas and they die out eventually. That's Sirius B. And we're gonna get into Sirius B in the Dogon too. I'm gonna talk about that lightly too. But yeah, Anubis, Snoop Dogg is Anubis. He's the dog, right? Dog, the reverse of dog is God. That's God, right? The God guides you, right? Your higher consciousness is the God. I ask people all the time when they say, I talk to God all the time. I'm like, okay, so say the word peach in your mind, right? And if that's not the same voice of the God that you've been talking to, then I give it to you. Maybe you are talking to God, but if that's the same voice, then God is just your higher consciousness. All right. Yeah, so yeah, the embalming fluid, the fluid is the water, right? So this movie was called Dog Days of Summer, and it was actually a drowning in that. And for those that don't know, Michael Jordan's father, right, James Jordan, right, died July 23rd. He died. They found him in a river, water, right? Like Whitney Houston died in the tub. Whitney W 23, right? Houston, NASA, space, the heavens. Okay, let's keep it pushing. All right. Dog Days of Summer, there was a drowning scene in that. The Dog Days of Summer, like I said, the sun is already hot. Really don't need no help. But because they think Sirius is so hot, it doubles, right? It doubles or it devils. it helps the sun produce heat and fire, right? Like hell. It's hot as hell outside right now because actually Sirius is the morning star, right? Oh yeah, forget me. I worked 60 hours this week, and the week had left me weekend, right? So today is Friday, right? Friday is the fifth day of the week, right? And the week has just left me weekend, right? And I've been praying for the weekend to come. When was my week end? The work week has left me weak. All right. So that's my poem for the day. All right. So yeah, let's keep it pushing, man. So yeah. So we dealing with the dog star, right? Water and death. Okay, here go 9/11. A good view of one of the memorials right after 9/11, right? And you can see they use water. You can see they use water. All right. And even in 9/11, there's a story about a dog named Sirius. All right. And this is what got me caught up on the subject, the topic, right? There's really was a dog named Sirius, right? Killed on 9/11. The Sirius dog. All right. Now, if you take the date of 9/11, right? 9/11, 2001, add all those numbers up, you get 23. All right. You spell murder, you get 23. You spell death, you get 23. You know, these people are deaf. You know, it's a deaf cult going around. It is truly a deaf cult going around. That's why skull and bones is so important, right? You don't get no skull and bones if you're alive. Skull and bone is deaf. All right. And you can see the cube, all right, the black cube right in the middle for the 9/11 memorial. All right. So the number 23 has been used all throughout, you know, I'd say recent modern history. All right. 23 in the dog for the deaf, but it goes way back to the ancients. This goes way back to the ancients and the Egyptians. They got a lot of their stuff from the Egyptians, bro. This is Anubis, right? Like we said, he will guide you, right? Like this light store that we call it the dog store is the guide to the underworld, right? And that's what Anubis would do. He would guide you to the underworld. You would go in there and you would meet Osiris, right? And it's crazy that this dog store is accompanied by Orion and Anubis, who's the underworld king. I don't know, yeah. Anubis guides you to Orion. You'll be judged by Anubis and Orion. There he is. There's the heart, and there's the feather. You can't have too many regrets in this lifetime, or you will be forced to do it again. Right? The death and the rebirth. That's why in secret societies they put you in a tomb. You be yelling and screaming. That's your death, right? The symbolic death, and then you have your rebirth. All right. Now, one of the worst movies of all time, they saying, is the number 23, and the number 23 is starring Jim Carrey, right? Jim Carrey is JC, right? Like Jesus Christ, like how in the movie Back to the Future, the first time they did time travel, right? They used a dog, and it was in the parking lot of JC Penney. JC, Jesus Christ. So yeah, even in the number 23, the movie, the number 23, Jim Carrey was a dog catcher. All right. And just like I was talking about, today's Friday, right? It was a black movie, for lack of better words. And Friday is Venus Day, right? For the goddess Freya. All right, all astrology. You know that, man. Don't let nobody tell you astrology don't mean nothing. Astrology has been under attack lately for some reason. Probably because they know we figuring this stuff out. Yeah, we are figuring this stuff out. But even in the movie Friday, yeah, the daddy was a dog catcher, and he told his son, "First of the month come, you ain't got nothing on the table. You ain't got to worry about catching no dog. You got to worry about a dog catching your ass." All right, and that's for a reason. Right, Friday, the fifth day of the week. All right, there's a store connected to all this, right, which is Sirius. So Sirius will be a 5-pointed star, like I showed y'all earlier. With the goddess. Here we go. All these are 5-pointed stars, right? The 3 plus the 2, the 2 plus the 3. All right, so yeah, this was really weird. The Sirius dog of 9/11. You add up 9/11 plus 2001, it comes out to 23. All right, and we see Snoop wearing a number 23 in a video. He's Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg is Anubis. Anubis is a Egyptian god, right, with the dog head, and he would take you to the underworld, death. They're letting you know, right, because Snoop is at the Olympics. I want to drive that point home too. Snoop is at the Olympics as we speak. He's corresponding. He was the flame bearer. So if you're going into the underworld, okay, look, maybe I'm reaching, but I would say the underworld is dark, and you would need a flame. Maybe not, but you know, I'm pretty sure somebody would back me up on this. If you're going into the underworld is dark. You're gonna need a flame bearer, a light bringer. So when you see Snoop at the Olympics and he's carrying a torch, yes, he is carrying, because the Olympics is a big event. It's a huge event. It's a big ritual, right? People done already told me about the golden calf and the pale white horse, but they missed out on Snoop at the Olympics in 2024 when the next Olympics is in 2028 and it's gonna be in LA. Why he couldn't? Why they couldn't wait? Why they couldn't wait? Because something huge is coming, and it's gonna shake up America. It's gonna shake up the world, baby. This thing is gonna shape up the world. All right. Let me go back to this old picture because I want to drive this point home too. That Anubis is a bombing the dead, right? He's giving them the dead fluid, the water. All right. So we got Jim Carrey as the dog catcher in the number 23. So we matching up the number 23 with the dog, right? We are matching up the number 5, Friday, Venus Day, right? Feminine. Water is feminine with the dog. All right. There's a dog catcher in that. Now look, Donald Trump is actually born Chinese New Year, the Chinese zodiac in the year of the dog, 1946, the year of the dog. Donald Trump is a dog. He's born the year of the dog. All right. Now the dog got best friends, which will be the pig and the rooster, and it also got an enemy. All right, pay attention to this. Donald Trump, born in the year of the dog. He also got an enemy, right? It's the dragon. Now, Nancy Pelosi, I watched the whole thing. Donald Trump and Nancy Pelosi couldn't get along. I don't care what you did. You could give them 2 ice cream sandwiches, and they still will find something to fight about. Nancy Pelosi is born the year of the dragon. 2024 is the year of the dragon. 2024 is the year of the dragon. You see, it's the complete opposite of the dog. It is the enemy of the dog. Nothing good is gonna come for anybody born in the year of the dog. It's just the way it works. Chinese astrology is way more accurate. So Trump being born in the year of the dog, and this being the year of the dragon, it's not good for Trump. And guess what? Chinese zodiac sign Kamala Harris is. Oh yeah, you guessed it. She's the dragon. She's the dragon lady. She's born in the year of the dragon too. So this is her year. Trump will not win this. I'm willing to go down saying that Trump will not win this election. And I don't got to debate nobody. I don't got to, oh, she's doing this. We ain't got to do none of that. We ain't got to do none of that. She's pandering to black folks, all that. No, we know. And when you know, it's common and it's peaceful. You ain't got to do a whole lot of arguing with so-called black folks, all white folks. Whatever you want to call yourself at this point, I'm good with it. So yeah, the 5-pointed star is actually, it's the feminine star, because the 6-pointed star, that's the masculine star. And the 6-pointed star, we know that's connected to the Jews. It has that extra aleph, right? That extra triangle. The 6-pointed star got the extra triangle. That's for males. The 5-pointed star is a feminine star. Here we go. It's a pagan religious symbol, right? This is the pentagram. It's a pagan religious symbol that is one of the oldest symbols on Earth and is known to have been used for as early as 4,000 years BC. BC is before colonization. AD is after domination. Because the women ran this thing. Pre-dynastic history, which we don't got a lot of. They act like they don't know what the hell was happening 6,000 years ago. But it was a matriarchy. The women ran things. That's the story of Adam and Eve. Because witchcraft is nothing but manipulating nature. And you see, Eve is known for, she's always got that apple in her hand. They'll tell you the truth, but you got to know how to decode it. Eve is always known for having an apple in her hand. She knew how to manipulate nature. That was the female. These are the oldest wars. Is the gender wars. These are the oldest wars. That's why till this day, look at this. Check this out. I just told you about the 6-point store, the Jewish store. They beefing today. They beefing right now in Israel right now. They beefing. And Islam got this 5-pointed store. It's the oldest war, and they keep playing out. And human beings cannot seem to put 2 and 2 together. Okay, one of the oldest symbols on Earth, 4,000 years BC. It represents the sacred feminine or the divine goddess. This is a feminine star. All right, so let's put it all together. We got Snoop Dogg. We got a feminine star. Right, the Sirius dog store, which is a feminine store. Now, what does Snoop Dogg call his women in his rap songs? You better not dare say it to his wife. But what does Snoop Dogg call his women in his rap songs? The B word, right? The B word. And what they say, life's a bitch, and then you die. That's what they say. But I always remember that 5-pointed star, right? That is Islamic star, right? You can see the crescent moon, and this will be the star of Venus, or it could be Sirius, right? Because the morning star it got double meaning, right? Devil meaning. We got a double meaning. The morning star could be Venus. But from July to September, probably September 11th, from July to September, guess what the morning star is? The Eastern Star. And we know that the Eastern Stars is the feminine Freemasons, right? From July, mid July to September, that's when Sirius is the Eastern Star. All right. And even Hollywood uses this star. All right. We already know America uses this star. This is the 50 stars, right? 5 plus 0 is 5. The United States stars. Now, I just want to double back for anybody who just joined on, right? This bright star that we calling Sirius, it sits low. It sits very low compared to all the other constellations. So I say this is basically the guiding light to the underworld. All right. And we know Snoop Dogg, he was on death row, right? So death is connected to the underworld, the devil, the devil. All right. So here go the Eastern Stars. Like I said, this is the female fraternity for Freemasons, right? The women Masons. And now we know that the Salem witch trials, they was burning witches, hanging them by a noose. You know, they was they was trying to get rid of the witches, the daughters of Eve. They was trying to get rid of the witches, the daughters of Eve. And now we see this. They said, okay, cool. Y'all can still practice y'all stuff, but y'all got to be a very small group. We can't have y'all giving out information to a mass amount of people, right? And this is a pentagon right here in the middle, right? This is a pentagon. This is a pentagon. The pentagon is America's military corporation, right? They a lot of death comes from the Pentagon. All right. And even the Army, I'm gonna show you this right here. The US Army, all right, they use the 5-pointed star, right, for death. You know a lot of death is gonna come. All right. But yeah, these the Eastern Stars, right? The female Freemasons. And as you can see, they use the 5-pointed star too as well. All right. Snoop Dogg calls women what? Witches or bitches? Because at this time, they was just trying to kill all of them because the patriarchy was taking over. That's what it was about. Life came through man now, and they give us that. They give the unenlightened life come through man, and you never question when you know for a fact you came from a woman. That's the womb that you came from. That's the dark womb that you came from. All right. So when you get esoteric, when you get a light and you start to see like, oh, this is a whole lot of male worship. There's a whole lot of male worship. And y'all turn the woman into the evil, the Eve of El. Right? Even Macy's got that 5-pointed star, right? Macy's. May is the 5th month. Right? If you go check out that movie, and it's on YouTube, you can watch it for free. Right? Right after this, go type in Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Full movie. I bet you could watch it for free. The whole movie. And in the movie, there's a lady named May. And one of the most important scenes of that is she's staring up at the stars. Right? No other animal on this planet stares at the stars like human beings do. I dare you. Well, you can say the wolf, but the wolf got his eyes closed and he's just howling. Who stares at the wonders of the stars, right? Do the monkey do it? They said we come from monkeys. Do the ape do it? They say we come from apes. No other being on this planet stares at the stars like the hue of man, the color of man. And it's for a reason, because we know that's from which we came from. And we all revere, if you can see it, because there's so much light pollution in these cities, it's hard to see all the stars. If you go somewhere that's super dark and you look up at the stars, you'll see that they're shooting stars all the time. That ain't no rare occurrence. It happens all the time. It's always shooting stars. But you got to be somewhere dark enough where you can see the night sky. They got too much light pollution. Like I was telling the brother who asked about the Dogon, there was a city called the City of Lights. All right. These people mastered electricity, and they started a city called Heliopolis, right? Which some people would call it the city of On, right? On, like the light switch. You got off and you got on. All right. And if you're a Buddhist, you'll say on to get the vibration for enlightenment. No other no other creature on this earth stares at the skies like we do. It's because we're connected to this. We are connected to this, bro. Even Lucifer. Lucifer is the morning star. Lucifer, the light bearer. All right. Snoop Dogg is in the Olympics carrying a torch. He's the light bearer, just like the Statue of Liberty. That's the light bearer. That Statue of Liberty, I thought it was Julius Caesar. It's not. It's Lucifer. 7 crowns around the head. The next video I do, I'll show that. The connection of Lucifer and the Statue of Liberty, right? With Lucifer, the light bearer, the morning star. All right. Like I said, mid-July. Now, mid-July to September, you're entering into fall. We're walking the sun into his fall. It's going to fall, right? Fall is the death. Winter is already dead. There's nothing else to do after that. Winter is everything's dead. But the harvest months, right, where everything is golden, that's fall. So that that's another reason why this is so important, because boom, July 23rd, you're starting to walk the sun down into his death. All right. So it's time to harvest the season. Eden, right? The Garden of Eden was so important to ancient humans that they made stories up like this, bruh. This is where these stories come from, because you needed to remember. We needed you to remember. Okay, it's getting time to harvest. Let me check out my astrology. Let me look up at the sky and see what time it is, because that's all this is a big clock. All right, that's all this is a big clock. All right. Now we already deal with the U.S. Army and how that's dealing with death, right? The 5. All right, I'm gonna end up talking about 555. That's in the movies, right? Everybody who give out a number in the movies is 555. It always starts at 555. All right. And our big thing in numerology was 666. I'm gonna show you how 555 is 666. All right. But okay, here goes the Pentagon. All right, the Pentagon. Now, the first 5 books of Moses is the Torah, right? It's also gonna be called the Pentateuch. The Pentateuch, right? 5 books of Moses, another 5. All right. Now, when I debated the brother from Philly, I noticed that he never really wanted to deal with the Old Testament. And there's a reason for that, because the Old Testament is kind of obvious that it's encoded. All right. Snakes don't talk. They always go to the New Testament. The New Testament is on some other stuff, right? If you want to get enlightenment, I don't got no problem with nobody wanting to deal with the Torah. Let me see if I can find this real quick. The Torah. I'll show you the real Torah right here. The real Torah. Superman tearing his shirt open because he's mild mannered Clark Kent. until he Torah that shirt opens, and then you can see the S, the serpent, the soul, the spirit, the real you, and it's on the chest, the solar plex. They don't want to deal with the Torah. They don't want to deal with the Pentateuch. They rather deal with the New Testament, right? Because the New Testament is AD, it's after domination. The Torah is BC, before colonization. When the mystics would encode, right? They would encode this stuff because they didn't want the laymen to find out, or they didn't want the higher ups who were posing like they wasn't laymen to find out. That's why you don't see the Old Testament in prisons. They won't give it to you because eventually you'll figure this out. Eventually you'll figure this out. So yeah, we got the Pentagon, all right, and it's connected to the number 23 too as well, right? Now this is why I was talking about the Pentateuch, all right, the first five books of Moses, all right, and here go that number again, the number 5, all right. They don't want you dealing with this. They don't want you dealing with. They don't want you dealing with the Torah because you might wake up, right, and realize that you are a spirit, you are a soul, right, and you're carrying the cross, right? Just like the name Jesus is 5 letters, the name Joker is 5 letters. All right, Trump, Kanye, Tupac, all 5 letters. All dealing with the number 5. And this 5-pointed star has been everywhere, especially if it's dealing with death, because Chrysler was the number one factorer of military vehicles, right? Back for World War I, World War II, it was Chrysler, that 5-pointed star, the Death Star. And when we say the Death Star, we talk about, you know, Star Wars. Star Wars, the Death Star. And one of the main characters in Star Wars was Luke Skywalker. Luke Skywalker is basically Lucifer. All right. And Princess Leia got caught up with in a detention camp that was number 23. And here go ancient Egyptian goddess. All right. And you see her star, which is another 5-pointed star. All right. Then you see the Aleph, right? Or the obelisk. But another 5-pointed star. It's dealing with the female. That's the feminine star. All right. Even if you talk about the Fifth Element, all right, that movie, The Fifth Element, with Bruce Willis in it. Bruce is 5 letters. All right. The Fifth Element, there's only supposed to be 4. They don't ever tell you about the Fifth Element. Why they don't ever tell you about the Fifth Element? Because you can't see it. The Fifth Element is astrology. It's the light from astrology. It's her. She's the 5th star. That womb that you came through to get to this plane, she's that 5th element. She is so important. And you gotta look at everything that's been going on the internet with the gender wars that have been going on, right? The male versus female and all that stuff that's been going on. This is by design, man. This ain't no accident, man. This is meant to happen. I told somebody the other day about how the Greece was sending their women to the island of Lesbos, and that's where you get the word lesbian from. Because the matriarchy, it wants to come back, and it is gonna come back, right? We got, and they're gonna symbolize it with Kamala. They're gonna symbolize it with Kamala. The Fifth Element, that was a movie. Here goes another movie, which is the Ghostbusters. That's 555, right? Who you gonna call? I was wondering why this always popped up. I was like movies and the number 555, and I was wondering why Ghostbusters kept popping up. But who you gonna call? That was the theme song, the Ghostbusters, and that's their number 555-2368. All right. So the triple fives, 555, right? Five in Hebrew is Vav. Five in Hebrew is Vav. Vav, which translates to six. So when they say, right? Not when they write, but when they say 555, they're really saying Vav, 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 which is actually 666. All right. Taking you back to the underworld. All right. And we already talked about Star Wars and Luke Skywalker, right? But in the creator's name, they use a yod. In the creator name, they use a yod, right? This is a yod right here. And it's the smallest letter. Let's just say letter. This is the smallest letter, but it's the most powerful one. It's the yod, Yoda, yod. Uh, it's the smallest one that floats in the air, right? Yoda used to float in the air, but it's the most wise one and one of the most important ones, right? And yod is 10, right? And we supposed to never say 10. It's another thing we never supposed to never say 10, never say 10. But yeah, Princess Leia, right, the female of the whole series, is she was locked up at the detention block AA 23, so 11:23. And if you look at the clock, if you look at the 23rd hour on the clock, right, the 23rd hour on the clock will be the 11th hour. So 11 and 23 has always been connected to. That's another thing. We see the Egyptians, right? They love that star, right? And that basically gives us our American flag. It's the same stars. I wanted to see her in a boat there. Here we go. This her in a boat, right? Because there's waters above and there's waters below. Check my notes right quick. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything. I told you about the first hunters being the first secret societies, right? Connected to Skull and Bones. Friday they had the dog catcher, right? Oh yeah, because let's go back to Trump right quick. Because Trump is using clown magic. All this stuff I'm talking about right now, this is deep esoteric magic right here. Trump with that hands, I talked about Trump with the magic hands. That's clown magic. That's stage magic. It may have worked in 2016, but the Democrats is using high magic. This is high for. Okay, hit the like button for your brother, man. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. We're gonna keep it pushing. We're gonna keep it moving. All right. So yeah, the feminine star, Series B, right? Series. Well, it ain't Series B. Let me clear that Series B stuff up, right? It's actually the dog store Series A. So let me clear up the Series B stuff. So let's go to the doggone right quick, if I can find them. Matter of fact, we're gonna get there. But here go the doggone. This is, and I already showed y'all this. That's what's crazy. That's what's funny. Is I already showed this image before, not too long ago, and I didn't even realize it was the doggone image of the Kanaga, right? And I'm gonna show y'all what this really represents here in a second, right? But we wanted to go through the goddesses, right? So that's why I pulled up that doggone store. I mean that doggone cosmology is because it's representing a great mother. In fact, let's go back to it right quick. It's representing the great mother. Now, excuse my language. I gotta say this. This is actually, I say it's the great mother because, yeah, These are nipples, right? This is I don't know, there's no other way to put it. Nipples, right? Great breast, the great breast of the great mother. All right, and as you can see in this picture, they're moving around. So you got two balls that are moving around a pole. And I done showed you that before too. So we gonna get into it, but it ain't too far away, so we good. But you can see all these images from Egypt. All right, and we know that the cult loves Egypt because that's where a lot of this stuff originated from. That's where a lot of this stuff originated from. All right, and Snoop Dogg is 52 at the moment right now. He'll be 53 October 2nd. And 53 is the 16th prime number, right? A president that was killed is on a $5 bill, which is Abraham Lincoln. All right. Five, death. Five, the fifth element, is outside the norm of the regular elements. You're getting into another uh you're getting into another ether when you talk about the fifth element, right? It's not for this base reality, which we think is the base reality. It's not for the regular everyday people, the fifth element. Even though they'll make a movie and tell you about it because they don't want that universal karma. They'll tell you about all this stuff. But they're scholars, the one that we usually lean on, right? They'll do a TV show like what's that? This is one of my favorite TV shows is Ancient Aliens. I love Ancient Aliens, right? And I don't love it because I think they're giving me right and correct information. I just love it because they're talking about stuff that I love to talk about. Because all they gonna do is be like, "Oh yeah, the aliens built that. Oh yeah, the aliens built that." Which is it's funny to me, but it's stuff that I like to talk about, and you know, I wish I could, I wish I could just review and recap all the Ancient Aliens episodes. I wish I could do that, but the copyright won't allow you to do that. I tried to do it once with the pyramids, and they just totally shut that video down. But I like to go behind them and tell them where they went wrong. You feel me? Oh man, these three pyramids. Remember, 9/11 was. Everybody know about the two buildings, but there was a third building that burnt down too, right? It was called Building 7, right? September 11th. Sept is 7, right? 7, 11, and 5. 7 plus 5 is 12. Plus 11 is 23. You're not going to get away from that 23. That's why Jordan and LeBron, they battle for the GOAT, right? And LeBron is a Capricorn, so he really, I'm trying to tell people he's gonna be the GOAT eventually because he's a Capricorn. But the goat is Pan. The goat has horns on his head, which is now they represent for the devil, right? And the whole thing has been since the start of it, right? Eve L, Evil woman, Evil. That's what they've been pushing. And here goes the goddess Callie. Now, in most pictures, you're gonna see her with four arms. Right here goes this picture right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She got 5 arms. 5 arms on each side. Right, 55. Right. The election is on November 5th. 11 times 5 is 55. Right. 5 plus 5 is 10. We never say 10. She's the death god. This dude is dead. This dude is dead. He's dead. All right. So they kind of always kind of want to associate the Great Mother with death, but they don't ever talk about the reincarnation. right? They'll tell you about Jesus all day, but Jesus came through a portal. He came through a vortex, right? Which would be Mary, the great mother, and they'll give you Jesus all day. They don't care. Why they worship the great mother? Because the great mother, while these first hunters, these first secret societies was doing a thing, they had to be secret to hide it from the great mother. They had to be secret to hide it from the great mother. They wanted to keep it on the low, right? They're consuming blood. They're eating the forbidden fruit, which was the animals. So the way we look at things is she's bad. She represents death now. But no, that was never the case. That was never the case, bro. So as you can see, right? And everybody got on code with this, bro. Woman, death, but it's really the rebirth. But rebirth is bad. You want to get up out of here. You want to make like a tree and leave, right? To quote the that movie, Back to the Future. You want to make like a tree and leave. As you can see, the great mother Callie would have her tongue out, right? Oh, that's Miley Cyrus all day. And she made the song. It was I guess in dedication to Michael Jordan. You see her with her tongue out all the time. You just type in Miley Cyrus tongue in 1,000 pictures. She's always got her tongue out. Miley Cyrus, Sirius, Sirius, Miley Cyrus, the number 23. That was the name of the song, right? So Michael Jordan signed to Nike. Nike slayed the Bull, right? He played for the Bulls. We also see this at the Olympics too, because Nike slayed the bull. She cut the bull head off, like completely off, bro. That's what this is. This is Nike, the goddess of victory, slaying the bull. And how she slay him? She cut the bull's head off. And then you got the male version, which is Mithra, right? They change everything. Just like how they say they whitewash stuff, they male wash stuff. All right. Because we used to worship the great mother, right? The Dogon used to worship the great mother. Why did I say used to? Because the Dogon even has been colonized. And that's the saddest shit I can report. That's the saddest shit I can report today. The Dogon tribe, one of the oldest tribes, has been colonized, right? Because the only reason we got information about the Dogon is because some French dudes, anthropologists, went over there and talked to one male, which would be Oba Tenali. They talked to Oba Tenali, got information from him, and they said, "Oh, this matches up what we already knew in the Western world. Anything done in the West is probably wrong. It's probably wrong." Tribes close to the Moors over in Africa, close to the Mali. Mali is where the Dogon is at, right? I guess that's the country that the Dogon is in. It's Mali. So tribes close to them couldn't figure out and couldn't decipher what the Dogon was trying to say. They said the Dogon was a backward thinking tribe. This is what the for lack of better words, the black tribes around the Dogon would say about the Dogons, that they was a backward thinking tribe. And you telling me that some French anthropologist, a European, came over there and deciphered this shit? No, they didn't. They did not. So yeah. the guy that's Nike. Right now, look, in the Olympics, they wouldn't let Kyrie Irving play on Olympics. You know, Nike kicked Kyrie off their contracts. They didn't want Kyrie on there no more. Kyrie a flat earther. Kyrie's a truth teller. Kyrie's a free thinker. And Nike got rid of his contract, so he's not signed to Nike no more. And Nike has been running the Olympics. That's why certain people didn't make it who should have made it. That's why LeBron, who's been carrying the torch for Nike for a long time, 20 years, he's the flag bearer, because this whole Olympic thing is about Nike, right? And Nike is the goddess of victory. All right. And she slayed the bull. So that's why you don't see the baby calf, the golden calf, like what Moses was talking about. All right. Moses went up Mount Sinai, Mount Sin. Sin is the moon. He came down seeing and worshiped the golden calf. The golden calf is the sun. The golden calf is the sun. That's why he got mad. Because the time of the sun was over. It was a time for dark secrets. It was the time for the moon, the sin. So this is why you just see the head of the bull, right? Because this is for Nike. Because Nike cut his head off. This is what the Olympics is symbolizing, the head of the bull. And I'm pretty sure this is 5 rings for the Olympics, right? I'm pretty sure that's 5 rings for the Olympics. And they had a whole lot of weird stuff going on for the Olympics too. So, but you know, like I said, this is the golden calf. Now that is the head of the bull for Nike. That's what that is. Because Nike over there running the Olympics. Now, like I've been showing you, there's always been that great mother. And if you look up old ancient tribes, right, they'll try to get you away from it. But you got to know, man, she's here for a reason, bro. Yes, you are the hero. Yes, you are Batman. Yes, you are Superman. But you're not an Iron Man. She's not. Look at your lady right now. Look at your old lady right now. Look at your woman right now. She's not there sitting there just for nothing. She's a goddess. She's a god too. She's not there for nothing. And the ancients was trying to tell you this in so many ways. The matriarchy, we praise the woman, the queen bee, and what they call you, a human being. That's why they are attacking her right now. A lot of stuff is for her. It's those Salem witch trials. And they said you can find salvation in Jerusalem. It's the magic, bro. This stuff comes down to magic. And who got the magic? It's her. She's the one internalizing everything. She's internalizing everything. Now look, why is this blurry? Because this is spinning around, right? 2 balls revolving around a pole. Y'all know I'm a flat earther. Y'all know this is the North Pole. Y'all know these is 2 balls, two luminaries circling the North Pole. What the doggone really been trying to tell us? With their symbols. what they was really trying to tell us with their symbols. Oh, but the sun is 93 million miles away. Oh, that's why Michael Jordan played the Suns in 1993 for the 93. Sun connected to 93. No, they don't want to tell you what's really going on. There's a creator, right? There's a creatora. There's a creatora who built this plane, earth, whatever you want to call it. And he did it with intelligence, light. He did it with intelligence and light. I'm gonna take something electric, and I'm gonna take something magnetic. And then we're gonna see what happens. We just gonna see what happens. Let me hold on. I'm about to tell the story about all right, the sun, the serpent, and when you Terra or you Torah through the layers, you reveal the real you, which is Superman, the spirit, the serpent, the soul, the real you, the Superman. Ah, I used to hate Superman. Batman was my guy, but look, Batman, Batman, right? The Ba is for the spirit. And I'm next video. I'll pull up a picture of that Batman symbol to show you. It connects to the Torah field, the Taurus field. The Ba. This is a battery, a negative and a positive charge. The sun is positive, the moon is negative, and it creates a circuit. This is a circle, but it's really a circuit, right? And you got circuit breakers. It's a circuit. And in a circuit, just control your whole electrical grid. We're in a battery. Battery. Now, what the Dokkan was trying to tell us. Story of the Dokkan. They talk about the Nomo. The Nomo is an amphibian being who could also walk on land. The Nomo is an amphibian being who could also walk on land. And they're so lost. I just, at this point, I just feel sorry for these scientists. I just feel sorry for these Harvard graduates, which is crazy to say. I feel sorry for the Harvard because they think this is a really alien. They came from outer space. The Nomo, an amphibian being. Also, so amphibian is a water dweller or a sea creature, something like that, like a fish. An amphibian being who could also walk on the earth, walk on land. What is that? An amphibian being who could also walk on land. People don't think, bro. They really don't think. What are you doing in the womb? What is surrounding you? Is that not water? Wouldn't you be an amphibian being? Because you're surrounded. How are you breathing? How is this baby breathing? Then when he will eventually walk, he came from outer space. He came from the celestial to earth into water, and then he could. Oh man, I swear, bro, this stuff ain't hard. I mean, it ain't easy, but it damn sure should be simple at this point. It damn sure should be simple, bro. I'm sorry, y'all got me fired up. Y'all got me fired up. Let's talk about the Dogon, the doggone. I just broke that down earlier. Dog, guide, God. Backwards is dog. It's a guide. On is light. There was a city in Egypt called On, right? They call it they call it Heliopolis. The Romans did. Heliopolis, the city of lights. Dog on, the guiding light. Remember that soap opera, The Guiding Light? That's what they talking about. That's what they talking about. Let's get back to the dog story. Let's get back to the dog story. Let me pull up this video right quick. All right, folks. This is Doc, right? Doc Brown, right? Shout out to Dante Yo because he said, I'll call people brown people. I ain't mad at that because Brown is actually light. His name was Dr. Emmett Brown. In his movie, his name is Dr. Emmett Brown. And that's little Marty, right? Marty represent Mars. Dr. Emmett Brown. Brown is light. Emmett backwards is, if you spell Emmett backwards, is time. All right. It's dealing with time travel. Einstein came up with the theory of relativity. Now, what Einstein coming up with the theory of relativity, he's saying that basically you could take time and fold it and create a wormhole, right? Dogs got worms, and create a wormhole to time travel, right? Time travel. Now, look, I was talking about this movie too. The movie, The Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Now, if you go watch the old movies, right back in the 60s or the 70s, the Planet of the Apes, it was dealing with time travel. All right. So, like I said, you can watch this movie for free on YouTube. Just type in Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes full movie, and you should be able to scroll down and eventually find one that's free. You could just watch it, right? Watch that movie. Because the monkey, Caesar died, right? Just like Caesar died in this video that I'm talking about. Caesar died died from 23 stab wounds. Right? And he's Julius, which is July. All right, so Caesar dies. The new main character is a monkey named Noah. So Noah, eventually, a flood is gonna come. Right? I don't want to ruin the movie for you, but come on now. If there's a character named Noah, you know it's gonna be a flood, right? So boom. There's also a character in there that's a human, and her name is May. May, like the fifth month, right? And there's a couple scenes with her staring up into the sky, looking at the looking at the astronomy in wonder. She's May, the fifth star, just like Venus is the fifth day of the week, the fifth planet. It's the feminine. Now, the thing I wanted to bring about this, because this, when this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious. This is what we talk about. Dog Star Sirius, and these two are on the outside. Guess who's in the car? It's a dog. You're gonna see some serious shit. When this baby hits 88, you're gonna see some serious shit, and that could be. That's the truth, bro. That's a fact. That's a truism. Matter of fact, to the point where they don't even want to show me it no more. But look, I'll just make do with what we got, bro. Matter of fact, here we go. And I do know this is a round Earth, but flat Earthers, as far when it comes to degrees and stuff like that, we ain't, it's all the same, right? It's really all the same to us. So boom, 88 miles per hour. Let's go to 88 degrees, right? So here we go. This is where we at 45 degrees, right? 30 degrees is right here. Kind of goes through Mexico. So if you go up to 33 degrees, guess what you hit? Dallas. And that's where JFK was killed. So boom, then we go up a little bit further. It got 45 degrees. Go up a little bit further than that. We up in Canada, like Greenland, Iceland area. You got 60 degrees. Go up a little further than that. We getting closer to the North Pole, 75 degrees. And when you get to 88 degrees, you're gonna see some serious shit. Tell me I'm lying. Because we've been talking about the stars, Sirius. That star system was Sirius, the dog star. When you get up to 88 degrees, you're going to see some serious shit. You're going to see death and rebirth because your true self is laying at the North Pole. That's why all compasses is pointing there. And that's why they do not want you to go. That's why they give you the story of Santa Claus, Satan Claus, the long fingernails of the witch, Satan Claus, Santa Claus. Everything that's sacred to us, they made us scared of. And who is the most scared people on earth? The first to run. You gotta be brave in this world. You gotta stand on your square, like the lady told us, in that last video. Stand on your square. Why are you not? There go the dog Einstein right here. His name was Einstein. Like I just said, Einstein gave us the theory of relativity, right? Two time lapse, fold it over, you create a wormhole to connect the two. That's how you time travel. Boom. Like I said, it's the K9, right? That's why 9/11, that's why it was a hero dog in 9/11, right? Here go the hero dog in 9/11. His name was Sirius, right? Let's get back to this. Back to the future. Boom. Before Doc did his experiment, Dr. Emmett Brown, before he did his experiment, he checked his clocks, and before the dog took off, everything was at 119. The K9. K is the 11th letter, and then 9. I don't gotta explain that. That's why you see. This is why you see the Sirius dog connected to 9/11. Because it's the dog of death. It's Anubis. It's gonna take you into the underworld, baby. It's gonna take you into the underworld. Anubis, the death dog. And there goes Snoop Dogg with the number 23. And if you type out 23 in Gematria and you check off Septenarian and you check off Chaldean, you'll see murder and death equal 23. That's why LeBron wore 23. That's why Jordan wore 23, because their careers. Oh, shit. There he is with the 5.50 stars. 5.5 plus 0 is 50. I mean, it's 5. He wears number 23. 2 plus 5 is 5. 2 plus 3 is 5. Yeah. He is directly connected to it. All this stuff is connected, bro. The dog days of summer is super hot. And they said the dogs will get rabies. The dogs will turn on their owners in the dog days of summer. The dogs get to act real weird when it's the dog days of summer. After July 23rd. And we got this woman in Wisconsin, which Wisconsin starts with a W. On July 23rd, right? Julius Caesar stabbed 23 times. Oh, yeah. She gonna win this thing. And then we got Trump born in the year of the dog. And the only thing that could defeat a dog. Where is it? Where is it at? The only thing that could defeat a dog is right straight opposing it, which would be the dragon. Then we in the year of the dragon. And Kamala born in the year of the dragon. I'm calling it now. This is my prediction now. She will win. But before she win, there will be a 9/11 event. Because they didn't put Snoop Dogg there for no reason. And he carrying a torch. He's taking us into the underworld. And what you gonna see in the underworld? All that stuff that they show. You gonna see the pale white horse. You're gonna see homosexuality. Right? Look at this. Look at this. Check this out. Check this out. Check this out. These old bruh. Old school. It ain't even really old school. Look at this name. The upright man, the monkey man. Right? The monkey man. We just talk about Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, right? The monkey man. They said we come from the monkey man, right? And we know that the Olympic rituals that they did, right? They turned the Last Supper into really a homo event. Homo. This is Homo erectus. What is erect? Ladies and gentlemen, help me help you. Please. The Homo erect. What is homo? What is erect? And you think you came from some... You better stop playing with me. You better stop playing with me. All right, the one. I'm not the one. Just stop it now. Yeah, we too woke over here, bro. Y'all better tell them. Y'all better tell them. Tell them. We too woke over here. That is some bullshit right there. Homo erect us. All you got to do is put U.S. on the end of it. U.S. United States. All you got to do is put U.S. on the end of it. And yeah, you don't even think twice about it. And you worried about the Olympic Games. And they got some drag queens out there for the Last Supper. You should have been worried 20, 30, 40 years ago. You should have been corrected them. Don't come at me now talk about, hey, man, they got some They up here doing some gay stuff with the Last Supper. No, you should have been worried about it. They been told you Homo erectus. You come from Homo erectus. They been disrespecting the great mother, and none of y'all did nothing about it. Nobody did nothing about it. And I gotta come out super woke, and I gotta make enemies. And I don't, that ain't my nature, bro. My nature is not to make enemies, bro. That's not my nature. Why so serious? The Joker, 5 letters. Joker, 5 letters. Kamala Harris, 5 syllables. Barack Obama, 5 syllables. Barack Obama, 5 syllables. Kamala Harris, 5 syllables. There ain't nobody coming to save you, bro. Nobody. I gotta fall back. I know how the game is played. I gotta fall back. I know how the game is played. There anybody let me keep on walking around woke and shit? No. Because once you wake up, first when you wake up, guess what? You're groggy. You're still ain't all the way woke. When you first wake up, you're still ain't all the way woke. You're groggy. Because you never get the suit. You never get the shoe. The shoe is connected to the soul. You're the walking dead. That's why Mary got her foot on the serpent. Her soul on the serpent. Because they made Mary represent religion when she is the great mother. It's gonna always come back to that. So whatever she want to do, as crazy as it seemed to us, and I'm telling you, they get crazy. They get crazy. We gotta rock with them. We gotta protect them. But we ain't gotta protect Kamala because Kamala got a husband. You know who the women who get protected got husbands to protect. That's why you get a husband. Ain't no random motherfucker who don't know you gonna risk his life for you. Your husband will. That's why Mary had a husband. It was Joseph. Shit, that's Jesus' daddy. I don't care what nobody say. That is Jesus' daddy. When you willing to protect a woman, because when you protect a woman, because you don't know what a woman gonna say, especially when you get her out in public. You might have to die for that woman. You might have to kill for that woman. Are you ready for that? That's the question you need to ask yourself. Are you ready to put that cape on? I'll give you another S. Let me give you another S. Because the real you is small. you thought you was some big deal. The real you is small. That's why it's 7 chakras, because it's 7 auras, and it's the smallest version of you is you super small. That's why they can keep on attacking that red chakra. That's all they really worry about, because the likelihood that you're gonna reach that crown chakra it's not likely. It is not likely, bro. It is not likely that you're gonna reach that crown chakra, bro. That's why I'm saying Shout out to the chat room, bro. Hit the like button. Everybody hit the like button, right? Before we get up out of here, man. Right. That's why I'll be surprised if it's 5 people still on here right now. Because a lot of people just want to be reassured with what they already know. A lot of people just want to be reassured with what they already know. Because they tell you life can come through Jesus now. Life can come through a man. But they pierced him in the feet. That gave him the bloody red shoes. Yeah, I always got a friend wearing big red shoes. And most shoes is made out of leather. And what does leather come from? The cow hide. The death of a cow. The death of the bull god. Who was talking about life? I want to know. I really want to know. Who talk about life? I go subscribe right now. Who talk about life? Who talk about living? Isis' role in the afterlife beliefs was based on a myth. She helped to restore the souls of deceased humans to wholeness, as she had done for Osiris. This is what I usually deal with is the moon, but we was talking about Cyrus and Sirius, why so serious? And in the movie Back to the Future, they said when you get to 88 miles per hour, you go see some serious shit. And Trump, you type out Trump name, it equal 88. And if you was to go to the 88 degrees on this earth, guess what? You will see some shit. I have no doubt about that. You gonna see some serious shit. I have no doubt about that. These are the pirates, the skull and bones, death. Right? Like I said, this dog star is one of the lowest sitting constellations. It is the guiding star to take you to the underworld. Death. It's a death cult. Because look, in let's say the 1940s, 1950s, 1960s, it was love music, baby. And guess what they had? They had a generation of that they called the baby boomers. Why do they call them baby boomers? Because everybody was making love, baby, and making babies. What your music do now? Cardi B. What your music do now, Sexy Red? What your music do now, Julio Fulio? It ain't nothing but death music. Because they coming with the robots. They coming with the computers. They need less of you. Actually, we looked at the numbers. We actually need less people. So let's push the death cult music. But back in the day, you had the Shy Lights, you had the Isley Brothers in between the sheets, you had the Temptations. My girl, come, bruh, look at the music. This is a death cult now. And they slow walk this shit. They slowly walked you into the underworld. Anubis, Snoop Dogg, Trump, and McDonald's. That's why I said Trump. Why I related Trump with McDonald's, right? I didn't get to show this picture before we get up out of here. Hit the like button, y'all, for me, man. Here go Trump with all these. He bought out McDonald's. Ronald McDonald Trump. He doing that low. He doing that low stage magic. And the Democrats out here practicing high magic, bro. This whole video is brought to you by the Democrats. You thank the Democrats for doing this high magic. Because Dave Chappelle tried to tell you too. Dave Chappelle had a sketch, and he was revealing a whole lot of secrets. He was dressed up as a president. He was revealing a whole lot of secrets. And then he got the JFK, and he said, "I'm gonna tell you who killed JFK. It was the magic bullet. Magic does exist. We have known this shit for a long ass time. I'm gonna pull that video up too. Don't worry. I'm gonna pull that video up too. He said we know magic has existed for a long time now, and everybody just overlooked that because as soon as you say magic, people think you're crazy, and that's what people gonna think about this. Why so serious? The Joker. You're gonna see some serious shit, and this is the story we've been talking about this whole time, bro. And his date is July 23rd. Julius Caesar, 23rd. And then the Super Bowl is gonna be at Julius at Caesar's. What is it called? Caesar Superdome. I don't even know the name of it, man. That's where the Super Bowl gonna be. Let me pull it up right quick so you can see. But I definitely wanted to show you how this. This was Kamala Harris campaign news, right? I don't know how to get rid of this black board that's right here, but I can pull it up. This is her first presidential campaign, July 23rd. It's basically Julius Caesar Day, Sirius Day. Like I'm saying, the Democrats are using high magic. They will pull this off. And the biggest thing is Donald Trump being born in the year of the dog, and Kamala Harris being born in the year of the dragon. And right now is the year of the dragon. So she got a better chance than Trump. Way better. And I'm calling it right now. Kamala Harris will win this shit. But before that, something gonna happen to shake up the world. It's gonna shake up the earth. It's gonna shake up the planet, the plane with a net over top of the planet, the planet. Shout out to David Tyler, man. Shout out to Dante, man. We up in this joker, man. Peace to y'all, man. Richard. Shout out to Richard Daniels, man. See this, man. Doggone Trump was the opposite of the Hopi Indians in Turtle Island and the original Brazilian tribes of South America. You gotta say original tribes of Brasilia because the original tribes of Brazilian is before, because this transatlantic slave trade, all that is before Brazil is the second highest population of African is in Brazil, right? And then you got to do etymology on the word African as well. But the second highest population of Africans is in Brazil. Most of the people who from the transatlantic slave trade went to Brazil or the Caribbean, not North America, where we at right now. We are indigenous to North America.